Hello, my name is Charlotte. James and I met at a party at Emma's house. He was handsome and polite, and we spent the whole party talking, like we had known each other for a long time. I gave him my contact, and soon we started dating. James always came to pick me up. He met my parents and my sister. Everything happened fast, intense, and real. We truly loved each other. It was a light, romantic relationship, the kind that makes you believe in love. But everything changed the day I met James's family. When we arrived, I realized it was not a normal house like mine. It was a mansion. His family was very rich, and on the first day, they rejected me without saying a single word. The man I loved had hidden the secret from me. If this has ever happened to you or to someone you know, watch this video and share your experience. You might help someone. After that day at the mansion, nothing changed between James and me, at least not between us. He was still caring and present, the same boy who called me before sleeping and said he loved me without fear. I asked why he never told me about his financial situation. He said he always dreamed of being loved for who he was, not for his family's money. When he asked if that changed anything between us, I was honest. It didn't change anything. That brought us even closer. I loved James, not his money. The problem was never us. It was his parents. For that rich family, I would never be the right girl. They thought I was with him for interest. They had no idea I didn't even know about the money when I fell in love. When James came to my house, everything was simple and real. My father talked to him for hours. They talked about work, American football, dreams. My mother cooked dinner like it was a special day. My sister laughed at his jokes. James felt so comfortable that for a moment, I forgot we came from different worlds. But in his world, I never felt at home. Every time I entered that mansion, I felt the same tight feeling in my chest. The looks spoke for themselves, like they could cut through me. His mother looked at me like something defective. His father barely tried to smile. His older sister and her husband only talked about jewelry, trips, and business. His brother-in-law worked for his father and did everything to please him. The conversations were cold and calculated. Business topics took over the table. Maybe that's why James preferred spending time at my house. When they were not pressuring James to take over the family business, they questioned me, my school, my plans, my parents' jobs. Never out of curiosity, always trying to find something to put me down. James squeezed my hand under the table. That was his way of saying, "I'm here." But I didn't know yet. That was just the beginning. With time, everything became clear. James's father had his future planned. Companies, alliances, power. Nothing was a choice. Everything was an order. James was treated like a successor, not like a young man who could choose a college or follow what he loved. And me? I was the mistake in the perfect plan. I had no money to add. I didn't come from an important family. In their minds, I could distract him from the path they chose. Still, I tried to believe love would be enough, that if I was polite, quiet, patient, they would accept me. Today, I know the truth. Love doesn't convince people who put greed above everything. I didn't want to compete with his world. I just wanted to belong. We got along so well. I had never loved and been loved the way I was with James. When I said that out loud, something broke inside me. I realized I was trying to earn a place that would never be mine. No matter how much I loved him, to his family, I would always be the wrong girl in the perfect picture. That night, I learned something painful. Sometimes we are not rejected for who we are, but for what we represent. After that night, something changed inside me. Not the love I felt for James, but how I allowed myself to exist in that family. I noticed I was shrinking myself, choosing words carefully, trying to be acceptable to people who only pretended to like me. That night, alone, I made a silent promise. I would never make myself smaller to fit into someone else's pride, even if it cost comfort, even if it cost approval. Because loving James was never the mistake. The mistake would be losing myself trying to be accepted. And from that moment on, they started to act. I began to notice things I had ignored before. Conversations stopped when I arrived. Invitations forgot my name but always included James. Events were planned on days I couldn't go. Dinners on important days for my family. High society meetings where I was never invited. Everything came disguised as concern for his future. Meanwhile, at my house, James was still welcomed with love. My father never asked how much money he had, only who he wanted to be. The truth became clear. They didn't want confrontation, they wanted to exhaust me, and they almost did. The confrontation happened at a silent dinner. James's father talked about his future like I wasn't there. He said a relationship would only hurt his business career. My hands were shaking. James squeezed my fingers. "I feel like you're trying to decide our story for us." The silence fell. "I don't need your money. I just want to know if James has the right to choose his own life. I met him before knowing he had money. It was never about interest." No direct answer came. That's when I understood it wasn't about me, it was about control. After that dinner, everything became more cruel. James's father made it clear that choices had a price, that privileges were not guaranteed, that people could be replaced. It sounded like advice, but it was a threat. James started coming home tired, thoughtful, not because of lack of love, but because of too much pressure. They believed I would give up first. They were almost right. A few weeks later, James started to pull away. At first, it looked like work, responsibilities. The messages got shorter, the meetings became rare, but his eyes were still full of love. He pulled away as if loving me had become a weight. My father once told me something I never forgot. Some battles are not lost because of lack of love, but because of too much fear. In the end, we didn't break up because love ended. We broke up because loving requires courage. There was no betrayal, no fights. There was fear. Some stories don't end because love ends. They end because the world is too heavy. If this story touched you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it. Maybe someone needs to hear that not every ending means lack of love.